So we're here today because we've got veterans in this country that are very worried. They're concerned, they're scared, they're afraid because there's been $4 billion over the next 4 years in cuts that have been announced to Veterans Affairs with very few answers. These cuts were announced, of course, right before Remembrance Day. And they've gone unexplained by the government. So veterans are worried. What are the services and what are the benefits that they're going to lose as a result of these cuts? No answers, no accountability, no honesty at all from the government about what's going on. So veterans are worried. Even the Royal Canadian Legion has said that they're hearing from veterans who are concerned and confused and who feel left in the dark, to use the Legion's words. And this is, of course, a government that has told veterans they are asking for more than we can give. It's buried them in red tape and waiting lists instead of giving them the help they need. Even pushed MAID on a number of veterans. We keep hearing from more and more veterans who are saying that. They can't even tell us the results of their so-called strategies on homelessness for veterans, on employment for veterans. They tried to stop providing wreaths for the cenotaphs for Remembrance Day across the country. They've banned chaplains from praying at Remembrance Day ceremonies. They've failed to build a monument to the mission in Afghanistan over the last more than a decade. And then the only details that we do know from the budget aren't good. What we know is that they're reducing the disability pensions for RCMP veterans. We know that they're shortchanging the most vulnerable veterans who are in long-term care. So it's really time that the Liberal government comes clean, that they're honest with veterans and tell them what are the services and benefits that they're going to lose as a result of these $4 billion in cuts. And I'll just turn it over to my colleague for some French remarks.
Merci Blake. Bonjour tout le monde. Du côté des conservateurs, on est vraiment inquiets. Ce qu'on a vu dans le budget, on a une coupure sur 4 ans de 4 milliards de dollars pour les anciens combattants. Et le pire dans tout ça, c'est qu'on n'a aucune réponse, aucune reddition de compte. On ne sait pas du tout de quelle façon ça va s'appliquer, mais on sait qu'il y a 4 milliards de moins sur 4 ans. Souvenons-nous également que les libéraux ont déjà mentionné que les vétérans demandaient trop pour ce que le gouvernement peut faire. L'autre côté également, c'est que la communauté des vétérans, des anciens combattants, sont très inquiets parce qu'il n'y a aucune nouvelle des stratégies pour l'itinérance, pour l'emploi. On n'entend jamais parler de rien. Également, le monument pour l'Afghanistan, ça fait 10 ans que ça traîne, ça ne finit pas par aboutir. Donc, le respect des libéraux envers les anciens combattants n'est pas là, malgré les belles paroles qu'ils ont. Et surtout, cette coupure-là de 4 milliards de dollars justifie le désengagement total des libéraux. Également, on parle des vétérans militaires, mais les vétérans de la GRC, n'oublions pas que les gens qui ont servi dans la GRC aussi, il y a une réduction qui est prévue de leur pension d'invalidité. Donc, pour nous, il est temps que le gouvernement soit clair, que les libéraux soient clairs, qu'ils donnent des explications à la communauté des vétérans militaires de la GRC. Également, la Légion royale canadienne est inquiète et tout le monde a des questions pour eux. Donc, on veut des réponses. Merci.
And before I take questions, I should just point out as well that we're joined by a number of our Conservative colleagues who are veterans themselves, members of the Veterans Affairs Committee, who are standing with and for their fellow veterans.
So in the budget lockup, the way that $4 billion figure is explained was that it's mostly about the reimbursement rate for marijuana benefits. And it's a cash versus accrual thing, but the $4 billion actually stretches over decades. And on a cash basis, it's only like $100 million a year that is the difference on the marijuana benefits. So that was their answer. Do you not take that? Or?
The math doesn't add up for me on that one. We're talking about a $245 million a year program. We're talking about a $2.50 reduction in the reimbursement rate. The math just doesn't add up on that one. The department itself claims that and the minister have claimed that 90% of their budget provides benefits and services to veterans. Their budget is less than $7 billion. They're cutting $1 billion from that. There's no way that there isn't services and benefits that are being affected here. And keep in mind the history of this government, right? This is a government that has a long history of not being honest with veterans, telling them they're asking for more than they can give. We've heard about the instances where they've offered medical assistance in dying to veterans who are just looking for help and living their lives. They tried to take away wreaths from Remembrance Day ceremonies. Like, this is a government with a long history of not being honest with veterans, and there's clearly something that doesn't add up here. So veterans they're worried, they're concerned, we're speaking on their behalf because they know that worried that what these cuts will mean for them. So it's time for the government to be honest and tell veterans what this $4 billion in cuts really is.
Would a Conservative government reinstate these cuts? And to be clear, would it reinstate the $250 a gram reimbursement?
Well, the first thing is we actually don't know what the cuts are, for starters. That's the first thing in here is we actually need to determine what they actually are. But what we believe and what we would stand firmly on is that this is a government that's got a $78 billion deficit. They've made actually very few cuts. But the one place where they decide to cut deep is on the men and women who have served this country, who have sacrificed for this country. That is the last place that you should start when it comes to cuts. And we would ensure that any services and benefits that are there for veterans would remain in place for them.
So the $250, you would reinstate that?
We believe that veterans have earned and deserve everything that they get in terms of services and benefits from this government. These are people who served and they sacrificed for this country, and they're the last place we should be cutting.
Monsieur Paul-Hus, est-ce qu'on peut juste vous entendre sur les MOU avec l'Alberta, votre réaction par rapport à ça, puis pensez-vous qu'il va vraiment y avoir un pipeline?
Pas du tout. Juste ce qu'on voit actuellement, c'est que M. Carney essaie de faire croire à l'Alberta qu'il va avoir un projet de pipeline et on voit que c'est vraiment, si M. Carney voulait vraiment qu'il y ait un pipeline, il prendrait les mesures disponibles à sa disposition pour le faire, comme exemple l'article 92.10 de l'Acte d'Amérique du Nord britannique ou la loi C5 qu'on s'est dépêché de voter au printemps pour permettre les grands projets nationaux. Donc, M. Carney fait une entente, fait croire aux Albertains qu'il y aura une possibilité de pipeline, alors qu'on sait que la Colombie-Britannique n'en veut pas. Et de plus, on a vu que M. Guilbeault, qui est très sensible à cette question-là, aurait dit hier à des journalistes qu'il n'était pas question qu'il s'en aille. Donc, on comprend que M. Guilbeault a été rassuré qu'il n'y aurait pas de pipeline. Ça sera à voir avec lui, mais c'est ce qu'on en comprend de notre côté. Merci. Bon, merci beaucoup. Okay.
Thank you.